Hello everybody, Ray Garner with Garner's Games, here to do my comic book review of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now this is a prequel for the upcoming Disney Plus series. And that's starring our favorite web slinger, but told in a completely new way. Now, this book is brought to us by Christos Gage and Gapstur. I think that's how you pronounce that. Or Gapstur. This book starts off with Spider-Man in a not unusual predicament. Beat up, lifted over somebody's head, and about to be thrown off a roof. He says, don't worry, I'm not going to say you're probably wondering how I got here. I am painfully aware of exactly how I got here. I decided to become your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And as he's getting thrown off, and that was probably a really bad idea. Now, this book is an origin story of Peter, way different than his previous origins. He's moving to Midtown High, and he meets a new female character, which I will assume will become some sort of love interest. It's Miko. And as he's talking to her, he is bit by a spider on the back of the neck outside of school and collapses. Aunt May rushes to check on him. They have paramedics that check on him. And he's like fine, and they're complaining about the fact that they can't afford the $50 copay for him to go to the ER. And about that time, an explosion happens at the school. Which, of course, causes immediate distraction. And they just kind of continue on trying to do life as normal. Meanwhile, they're at a grocery store. And a young man sweeping up near Peter knocks over a bunch of tomatoes? Yeah, tomato crates. And Peter's petting a cat, and he grabs the cat and dives out of the way before anything hits him. And we address the security camera deal because the young boy wants to put on the security camera footage up online, and his uncle's like, our cousin's like, yeah, genius. Yeah, I thought we could put it up and get sued. Now, how about I erase it and we pretend this never happened? Miko's mom basically drags Miko over to Aunt May and Peter's place, and she brought food. They have dinner, they're cleaning up, and Miko lets him know about the bids to basically buy the land the school's on, and some developers trying to basically buy the school, bulldoze it down. And so they go to investigate, as anybody would probably do. Yeah. It's comic books. And we're going to do that. So they go investigate the school like the Scooby-Doo gang. And of course, thugs show up to clean up the mess and get rid of the evidence that shows that it was actually arson that set off the explosion, which Peter and her had already found. They get chased. Peter tells her to go one way, he goes the other, so that he can get away from him, or she can get away from him. And at this point, he doesn't actually know he has superpowers. But he gets to a door that's chained up, and he's like trying to figure out what to do. So he kind of, tries to yank or pull the chain loose, and it shatters. So he gets through the door. And they come up with the excuses that, it must have been weakened from the explosion. Get there, the four of them grab him, or try to grab him. He starts jumping over them, fighting them. He's throwing them around like they're nothing. Then the guy tries to shoot him. And he, out of reflexes, yanks part of the wall out and deflects the bullets. And then throws it at the guy, and it takes off running. And even jumps off the building to get away. from that point, he figures out that, he's got all kinds of powers. He can make moves like an Olympic athlete, and he can climb on a wall just like a spider. Then he gets down an alley and starts thinking about the fact that he got shot at. He could have died, and kind of panics and throws up into a trash can. And then he starts talking to Nico about, basically telling everybody what they found out. And she points out, it's like, are you crazy? Those were monsters that tried to kill us. We go to the cops, they're going to try to kill us, our family, your aunt. And Peter agrees to that's a bad idea. But then he thinks of his hero, Captain America. He's like, well, Peter Parker can't risk crossing those lines. Maybe somebody else can. Foreshadowing of him becoming Spider-Man. And our main villain for the story, as we kind of found here found a little bit earlier, but really focused on here at the end, is Silvermane. And he informs them that they're going to summon the Enforcers. And that ends the book. So we actually start the book with an event that does not take place during the book. It obviously takes place in the next issue, where he's attacked by the Enforcers. Which, I do love the Enforcers. So, that's really neat. The book's kind of cute. It is basically hemmed in the fact that it's having to set up the animated series that's going to be starting, I think, next month. Maybe this month. But anyway, it's coming soon to Disney. I'm going to comment off the bat on the new look for Peter that's implied on the front of the deal, which is basically, to use cosplay term, it looks like a closet play with bulky web shooters added to it. I'm going to have to see how it looks when they animate it, but as a base design, I'm not a fan. I know they're trying to use some of the influences that have been successful with Miles Morales, with Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy, and going with more of a, this is kind of a new age type deal. Of course, I'm an old fart, so it may appeal to younger viewers more than it appeals to me. But if it's a stopgap of like, this is his early costume that's going to eventually develop into our classic costume, then I'm very cool with it. So we just have to see where it goes. It does read well. It's pretty well written. I know the style is trying to go as if it's based off of, I'm sure, what the anime is going to look like, or the cartoon is going to look like. Like I said, pretty cool. Way too lacking information to me form a full opinion on it. It does have the drawback that it is it's my favorite Marvel character. So we'll have to see if it lives up to my very high expectations of it. But for a first outing, pretty solid. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time, true believers.